Hello and welcome to another What's Inside. This time we're looking at X from Outer Space. This was put out by Discovery Toys. The copyright's from 1986, item number 401. And inside we are going to see a game board, some playing pieces, some cards, and instructions. I'm missing the dice, which are just standard dice. There's two red and a white. I am missing those. I'm also missing the multiplication table. Inside the box is pretty boring. It's just regular cardboard inside. There's the copyright information, or no, that's the blurb. And then there's just a little bit of imagery on here with the logo. And the copyright information's on this side. The bottom of the box is just blank, so that's pretty boring. Alright, then we've got our game board, which is also fairly boring, and it's a little bit confusing, quite frankly. But the goal is to get to the sun here, and they want you to start off up here, I think. This is where you're supposed to start from the look of it. So yeah, you go around the different planets of the solar system. It's very generic, very 80s looking art. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's definitely not the best. But it's better than I expected from a company I don't think I've ever heard of. The board quality is pretty good though. It's got a nice backing on it. It's pretty sturdy. The seam is in good condition, so the quality is there. Alright, here's the instruction book. Now normally there would be a multiplication card, which is about half the size of this. And it would be 1 through 10 down the side and 1 through 12 across, ending of course at 10 times 12, which is 120. And that's the goal, is to help learn multiplication. This is aimed at ages 8 and up. And I don't know, it really depends on if your kid is at a point where they could do multiplication at 8 years old. I think that's going to be an individual basis, but this might be a good way to help them learn. So you have one game board, 23 planet zoomer cards, 22 black hole cards, 2 red dice, 1 white die, 4 player tokens, 1 multiplication table. The object of the game, like I said, is to be the first one to reach the sun. The dice are just standard D6s, 1 white die and 2 red dice. Pretty easy to replace, nothing particularly unique about them. The multiplication table might be a little harder, but it's on the same type of Xerox paper. It's fairly good cardstock, or paper quality rather, but it's definitely easily destroyed. So let's take a look at our pieces here and see what these look like. This is really disappointing. They could have put some imagery on here, but it was probably a cost-cutting measure. Board games used to be a lot more difficult and expensive to make than they are now. Okay, we'll start with our mover pieces. There's 4 of them, because it's a 2 to 4 player game. And we've got this light blue, dark blue, red, and yellow. It's kind of a green. I don't know if it's supposed to be sea foam or not, but these are very unique looking pieces, and they will be a little bit difficult to replace. This game seems to go for about 25 bucks as of this recording in 2021 for shipping and stuff like that. It's usually 25 to 40. You could buy the parts separate, but they're going to cost you almost as much as the board game. So if this is one you're planning on collecting, you definitely want to make sure these are in your box. The multiplication table, I mean, you could take one out of an old Trapper Keeper folder, or just use a calculator or something. But these are definitely unique looking, and they are really solid actually. They're very nicely made. The instruction book is about the only thing that I would say is kind of disappointing. The multiplication table and the instructions were just on regular paper. But these are really nice. And it looks like they're 2 pieces that were glued together, so there's that too, but very nice quality. Like I said, I'm real impressed with these. They have a nice feel to them. They're very good weight too for little kids because they're heavy and they can grip them very easily. So yeah, pretty nice. We'll start with our black hole cards. And as I said, there are 22 black hole cards and 23 of the Planet Zoomer cards. The card stack I have here is complete, so we will be able to see all of them. And finally, alright, so obviously these are all bad. Let's get those out of the way and look at our Planet Zoomer cards. And like I said, there's 23 of these. Card quality is actually really good. Much better than I expected. And lastly, alright, that's all the cards. Okay, that is what is inside X from Outer Space. There's not a lot to it. The components might be difficult to replace, in some instances the dice being the easiest to replace. But it's really designed to help kids learn multiplication, because you take whatever you roll on the red dice and multiply them by the numbers that you land on. That sort of thing. So it's supposed to help kids with their math and be entertaining at the same time. It does stick to the space theme, so the cards do kind of play on that. And that's nice. It is aimed at ages 8 and up. Like I said, depending on the kid, it might be a little bit difficult for the younger ones, but if you are trying to teach them multiplication, this might be something worth looking into. There are similar type games out now, but this one seems a bit more fun with the planets and the space theme. So it might be worth tracking down. If you're a board game fan or you're just nostalgic for this, it'd be worthy addition as well. The card quality is pretty solid. The game board's real nice, and the player pieces are very, very nice. So I'll give them good marks for that. But it's really designed to help kids with their math skills. But there's copies of this floating around. I think there was an earlier one in '85 as well that is slightly different packaging. So be aware of that. But yeah, overall, not a bad board game, really, considering what it is. So yeah, not much to it, but I've definitely seen worse learning games. That's going to do it for this one, though. We've seen what's in the box. You've heard my take. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future unboxings and reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, the links are in the description for the merchandise store and other ways to support me. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.